Hello, David Bedella here in between shows. We're just taking off the wig. We've had a matinee, and I thought during the break I might answer a few questions that the fans have been writing in to ask. So, get back to you in 1 second.
Don't get strung out by the way I look. Don't judge a book by its cover. I'm not much of a man by the light of day, but by night I'm one hell of a lover. I'm just a sweet transvestite from transsexual Pennsylvania.
Hello, everybody. As you see, I'm out of wig, and I've taken off most of my face except for the eyes, because those take a long time, and I don't like to do them twice in one day. But we're in the dressing room here. I'm making a coffee. I'm joined by my lovely friend Cara Lane. She is magenta, as you all know, and she's going to ask us questions that have been sent in from you, the fans, who want answers. So here we go. Take it away, Cara Lane.
Okay, the first question is from Lauren Ashley Smith, and she asks, what do you enjoy the most about playing Frank?
What do I enjoy the most? It's a terrible thing to say because it's all ego-based, but I love the amount of applause that come in for Frankenfurter. When he does that first song, don't mind my coffee, when he does that first song and the audience goes mad, sometimes we're standing up there for a minute and a half while they stomp their feet and cheer and yell. It's just the best feeling. It's the reason that we got into this in the first place, was to have that connection with the people, so that's pretty great.
And I'm just a sweet transvestite from transsexual Transylvania.
Look, before we move on, you gotta see this latte I just made with my own Tassimo. I figure if I get in a commercial break, they'll give me a free one. Cheers.
So, Natalie Owen, just such a camera hog, honestly. Well, what's the best heckle you've had, and is it really hard not to corpse on stage? Oh yeah, and tell him that we think he's fabulous, darling.
Oh, that's so nice. The best heckle. I hesitate to tell you because I know that there are fans out there who will hear it and say, I'm going to be the one to scream it the next time we go see the show. This is not an invitation to use it in the show, okay? I'm going to know it's you. There was one day that we reached the point when Riff Raff comes in and sings Frankenfurter, It's All Over, Prepare the Transit Beam, and I scream, wait! And one day someone from the audience screamed, I haven't come yet! And we all stood there, and we stared at each other, and there's that moment where you think, okay, do we acknowledge it? Do we not? And little by little you see everyone's bodies starting to do this, because it's truly a funny ad-lib. And we all started to laugh. And there was no choice. I just had to turn to the audience in this moment of seriousness that we're working for all the time, and look at the person who said it and say, you toilet. And it was a great time. It was a great time, but don't do it again.
Ian Cognito says, you seem to be really getting into the part of Frank. Is his persona accidentally popping into your life outside the theatre, like when you have a family meal or something? And do you wear his costumes for fun?
I do not wear the costumes outside of here. They are Sue Blaine originals. They cost a lot of money. My cape alone, I think, cost £3,000. They're very expensive. I mean, that's beautiful purple and black velvet, and it's boned and made by this guy who's really good at what he does. So, no, I don't get to play with costumes. Does Frank show up from time to time? To be honest with you, I try hard not to let Frank show up. It was one of the things I struggled with the first year that I was doing this show. I'm sort of, you know, we all do that work at home, trying to be a better person, trying to learn the right way to get through life, the right things to do or not to do. I was doing a lot of religious studies, in fact, and everything I was reading was saying, it's not all about you, You don't get to throw a tantrum every time you don't get your way. That's not how life works. And what God wants from us is to be loving and kind and gracious and help each other out and take care of each other. And don't you know that is the exact opposite of who Frankenfurter is. So, I had this turmoil. How do I behave this way in my real life and yet let all that petulance out on stage? I think I found the balance, but it's taken a while.
Really nutritious, high protein, and full raw eggs. Try to build up his shoulders, his chest, arms, and
Catherine Ostrich Thurlow asks if there's any tips for stage fright.
Tips for stage fright. You know what? Here's what I try to remember. Oftentimes, the stage fright comes right before you get on stage. It's when you're standing in the wings and you're ready to go, and your heart starts pounding like mad, and that voice in your head says, oh my God, why am I doing this? I'm not good enough. What am I doing here? How did I get here? All of that stuff goes on. I try to remind myself that there is a reason you're here. That you wouldn't be standing in this spot unless a whole team of people, producers, directors, choreographers, said to each other, this is the person that's right for this. This is the person that's actually going to be great. So if all those people believe in me, I must be good enough to do this. So I'm going to shut the fuck up and I'm going to get on with my job. And that's what I try to remind myself. Personally, I don't know if it works for everybody, I also say a prayer. A little prayer. God, I know it's you doing this and not me, because on my own, I'm not good enough, but together we can go out and do this, and we can please this audience. And then I open the doors and we go on stage. Okay, it's interval. We've just finished Act 1. Oh, this is the whole thing put together, and I'm tired. But I know you guys have a few more questions, so we're going to get Carlene back in here. We're going to answer a few more and see if we can take care of everybody. All right, see you in a minute. Do my Julie Andrews.
Go on, do Julie Andrews for me.
The blackness would... No! No! Blackness would hit me, and the voice would be calling. Enter!
Oh, hello.
Where have you been?
I'm sorry, I had to refresh.
We have a lot of people waiting for answers to very pressing questions.
I'm so sorry, I had to refresh my makeup because I have to redo the front of my wig because later when I get changed into usherette.
Blor, blor, blor.
Emily Rose says, how do you put an arrogant audience member in their place and save the rest of the audience's viewing pleasure?
Ooh, okay, I'll be honest, that's a toughie. Chris Luscombe is our illustrious director. Many of you know who he is. He's brilliant. They call him 5-star Luscombe these days because every production he touches is a winner. He has always told us, ever the high road, which means if you have an opportunity to say something witty, then say it back, but only if you have to speak. If you don't have to speak, if you can turn to the audience and just raise an eyebrow that tells them enough, enough, then that's job well done. You haven't disrupted the flow of the play. You've kept the integrity of the rest of the actors on stage. That's our goal. Of course, every now and then there is someone in the audience who pushes the limits, and we have to use words that we don't normally use in this show. But that's not too often, and not with the producer's approval.
Fran, next Mrs. Jovi France, would like to know if you won't marry her, will you at least adopt her?
If she pays all the fees. If she pays all the fees.
Okay.
Not spending.
Okay.
Not spending.
Stacey Dorling.
Yeah.
What is the funniest thing that's happened to you on stage when you needed to keep a straight face?
I would have to say this involves, at the time, one of our ensemble members who was called Stuart Ellis. And he's now playing Riff Raff in our show, which I'm sure most of you know as well. He and I do this little do-si-do section on stage right before the entrance of Riff Raff. So we're doing Rose, tip my world, keep me safe from the trouble and pain.
5 minute call, yeah, 5 minutes please, thank you.
Rose, tip my world, keep me safe. We're spinning around, spinning around, spinning around. I do these shiny turns and then we all stop and Riff Raff comes in. Frankenfurter, it's all over. Well, one day, he and I got to spinning so fast that we tumbled on top of each other. Our legs were all bent, fell to the floor, and in the moment when Riff Raff came rushing through the door, there we were, like this. Trying desperately to hold it all together. The rest of the company was completely gone, weren't they? Everybody was laughing so hard. Oh, you weren't there. This was the first tour. This was 2006 and 7. So that has to be one of the funniest moments I've ever had on stage. I mean, what do you do when you fall flat on the floor and there's nowhere to go? You're in front of everybody.
Right, Jennifer Dawson says, "Hiya David, apart from Tim Curry, you're the only other person I've seen play Frankenfurter and you're magnificent. Have you ever been intimidated by meeting Richard O'Brien, and what inspiration did you draw on to turn the character of Frank into your own?"
Okay. No, there's nothing at all intimidating about Richard O'Brien. He's the loveliest guy ever. He's one of those people that is a true blue friend. He took me under wing and has made me feel very taken care of and supported and very loved the whole time that I've been doing this. So, yeah, nothing scary about him. He's terrific. We've had a great luxury being able to have the author and composer right there on site most of the time. So when we're putting the show together, as always, there are questions about what does this mean, and why did you come up with that, and you know, how should we handle it? And Richard's been right there to answer all of those questions. As far as my Frank is concerned, one of the first things we did is we decided to make him American, because Tim Curry, his voice, his sound, the cadence of his speech is so identifiable with this role that we decided we have to get as far away from that as we can in order to make it something different. There's also, you know, the justification that these aliens have just landed in the middle of Denton, Ohio. And so they would very naturally adopt American accents in order to assimilate into the culture. So we started in rehearsal with me speaking as an American, and very quickly found that it was a great way to escape the shadow of Tim Curry and start making him my own. And that's been a really lucky thing. Okay guys, we have had our call for Act 2. We got to get back out there and finish the show. Cara, thank you.
Thank you.
It's been lovely interviewing for you and with you. And guys, thank you so much for the continued interest in what we do. It's a lovely thing. We feel very loved and supported by all of you, and hope to see you at the stage door sometime soon. Lots of love. Mwah.
Bye.